Yo, what's up, boys and girls? Welcome back to Guns, Gears, and Beers for another Out in the Shop episode with Jeff. That's me. If you clicked on the title of this video, you probably already know what we're going to talk about, but why don't we lead up to that with some BSing here really quick. But first, beer. That's better. So growing up, from my boyhood into becoming a young man into an adult, there's been very few things I've ever been afraid of in my life. I'm not big on heights. I'll get up on a ladder, and I'll do what I got to do on a ladder. Speaking of heights, parachuting, that's the dumbest thing I've ever would even think about. Why would I jump out of a perfectly good airplane at fucking 13,000 feet with a parachute? That's like a bed sheet. Just think about it. Somebody was dumb enough to try that the first time. Anyway, no thank you. That's done. Snorkel kits. Took me a long time to finally man up and install that Tacoma snorkel. I had it in my garage back here for quite a long time before I finally did it, and I love it now. Well, another thing that I've always been scared to do is rattle can a rifle. So I finally did a cheap AR build, and I rattle canned it Rust-Oleum. I think it's dark forest green or something. It's like an OD green. So now we're going to continue with this video, and we're going to take some Rust-Oleum ultra flat camo. We're going to go in the backyard, we're going to collect some sticks, some twigs, some ferns, some foliage, and we're going to give it the ultimate Jeff's Backyard, Western Washington operator look. So if you're into that kind of thing, stick with us, grab yourself something cold to drink, and let's tactically spray some shit. Pew, 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 pew,
So basically, on our property here, we have 5 acres here in Western Washington. It's primarily a bunch of really old growth cedars. We have some Douglas firs, and we have a lot of ferns on the ground. We also have Nellies on the ground going through the ferns. So we got all these ferns on the ground, which are kind of a nuisance everywhere. They look kind of cool, but they're just a nuisance. They overgrow everything. So we'll take some ferns here, and then let's see if we could find some cedar branches that are maybe laying on the ground. Probably not, so we might have to break some off, some trees here. We'll just get some miscellaneous stuff, you know, some sticks and whatever, and we'll start to lay something down. So I'm gonna forge through here, find some stuff, and then we'll get back to you in the shop. All right, you guys, so we started off by base layering the gun with this Rust-Oleum camouflage. This is the deep forest green. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to call this OD green, because that's pretty much what it is. It's like an OD green color. So that's our base coat. So we're going to leave that one aside for right now. So what we just went and forged through the backyard for was we got some ferns here on the left. These are some branches, some dead branches that came off of some cedar trees. I believe it was cedar. Maybe it was Douglas fir. Then we have some cedar limbs here, a couple different types of cedar limbs here. And then some various salal. I actually don't know what this stuff's called, but we have it all over the property. Some different salals here. And then we have some leaves, just a couple various leaves here. I'm not much of a leaf camo type person. I don't think it looks bad. I think it looks good. It's just I'm not necessarily going to go for that type of look on this gun necessarily. Plus, these leaves are kind of big, so it would take up quite a bit of patterning here. So I brought them here just, I don't know, we might spray part of it, maybe the mag or something, but I didn't really necessarily intend to camouflage this mag. This mag is pretty much here only to keep the mag well semi-clean. The only things that we taped off here are the trigger, the forward assist, and then the muzzle device. So everything else is going to get canned. So I think I'm going to start off with some cedar limbs here, because the cedar is the closest match to the color here. So I think I'm going to hit it with, this is some Rust-Oleum camouflage. This is the earth brown. So I'm just going to give this a shake here for, I don't know, 30 seconds or so while you're kind of looking at the gun here. It's kind of breezy outside, so I'm not really sure how this is going to go. If it ends up getting kind of bad, we might have to move into the shop. So, you know, like I said, this is the first time I've ever done this. The hardest and scariest part was just rattle canning the gun. After that,
The camo is going to be the fun part. And here's the thing, guys. If you mess up, if you don't like the way the camo looks, if you wished it was a different color, redo it. It's no problem. You can redo it. You can brake clean this whole gun and take most of the paint off. Is it going to look like it was prior to you spraying it? Absolutely not. You're always going to have some sort of traces of paint in the threads, maybe behind the back plate here. You're always going to have paint on this gun. So if you do this, make sure you're doing this to a gun that you don't care about, or that you, I mean, not that you don't care about the gun, you like it enough to do the paint job, but don't do it to your, you know, your $2,000 BCM or Daniel Defense. Maybe do it to a cheap AR build here. So just going to give this a good shake. And then what you're trying to accomplish here, you're not trying to do a bunch of coats here, you know, a bunch of heavy sprays. What you're trying to do, guys, is you're just trying to dust it. Super light dusting. So let's take some cedar limbs here, and you're going to you're not going to leave this on as you spray it, or as you finish sweeping it. You're not going to leave it on. You're going to move it around. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to kind of lay it down, I don't know, something like that. And again, we're just going to dust it. We're just going to go over it super light. I can already see the wind taking some of my paint away. And then you're just going to kind of move it around, go up here. Might have to go inside the garage. Just lay it down. Just trying to get a little bit of patterning here with this. Don't want to go over it too heavy, especially on this rail here, because there's more holes and accessory ports in the rail than there is actual rail itself. So you don't want to go over it too heavy. Just a super light dusting. And then what I'm going to do here, guys, kind of go to the back side here, get some parts of the Picatinny rail. Most of the rail is going to be covered up with, you know, a light and an optic, so it doesn't matter too much. But as you kind of sit here, guys, and you've already applied some paint, just kind of walk around and go where apply where you think some coats need to go. Like back here on the top of the stock was pretty bare. And just kind of, see how I'm just barely touching the trigger? It's just a super light coating. We'll get some more on the dust cover. Just a super light coating. I've probably said that a million times. So some people would take this gun right now and just flip it over and then immediately do the other side. I'm just going to let this flash cure for, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes just to get that initial tack to go away. And then I'll flip it over and then I'll do another coat on the other side similar. All right, guys, so for the sake of not trying to make this a 30-minute video, I already went ahead, flipped the gun over after about 10, 15 minutes, and I resprayed the same thing, the earth brown with the cedar limbs. So now I've already pre-shook this can as well. This is the Rust-Oleum Army Green in the Rust-Oleum Camouflage Ultra Flat. That's what I'm using for this entire gun, is all Rust-Oleum Camouflage Ultra Flat. So I think with this one, I'm gonna do the ferns because it's about the closest thing matching in color. So now remember, guys, when you're going over this again, you're gonna end up overlapping a little bit of your cedar leaves with some of your ferns, and that's okay, but it's gonna take away some of the patterning that you just laid down of the cedar. So keep that in mind when you're starting to spray. You're gonna remove some of it, and that's okay. You know, if you don't like it, you can always re-go over it with another color. So again, I'm gonna do the exact same thing here. I'm just gonna go over it super lightly. So another thing I thought of when I did this second side that I actually didn't think about when I did the first side was this right here. This is how you would see a cedar limb in nature. It'd be drooping like this. So I sprayed the other side like this, and I sprayed most of this side like this. So you could take that into consideration if you want to actually do it the way you're gonna see them in nature. But again, it's camo, it's all random, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. And it's also your rifle, so you can do whatever way you want. So I'm just gonna go over the stock first, super light. I've actually never sprayed anything with this color before, so I'm actually kind of curious to see how it's going to turn out. Again, we're still kind of battling the wind a little bit. So again, you're just going over it super light dusting. My dogs are probably going to go crazy. They're going to hear that bird in the tree. It almost looks like it's taking away all of the cedar spray. It almost kind of gives it a snake pattern, which I'm actually not a fan of. That you kind of see with that cryptic kind of camo. I really don't like that stuff. So we'll see how it turns out. Flip this one like that. Get the forward grip here. A little bit on the mag. A little bit on the grip. I guess I didn't get anything on the grip last time. A little more on the back side of the stock, which is going to rub off because the back of the Magpul stocks are rubber. A little bit on the top of the stock. A couple super light sprays. A little bit on the rail. Guess I should have put these cans on the ground. And we'll let that dry again for, I don't know, 10-15 minutes. And then I'll probably go over, I'll flip the sock and I'll flip the gun and I'll do the other side again and save you guys from having to deal with that. So here we go. All right, so we're back. I ended up doing the same thing before. I sprayed the other side as well. Now, today's actually trash day here, and I found this in my driveway, right outside my driveway. I believe this is a branch off one of our Douglas firs. So I'm gonna go over the gun now with that, with the khaki, which is like a flat desert sand. I actually wasn't sure if I was gonna use this color or not because we don't have a lot that looks like khaki in our backyard, but I thought it might break up some of this army green. I'm actually gonna be honest with you guys, after laying down the fern and spraying the army green, I actually don't like the way it looks, but that's okay because we have 4 colors of paint out here and we have like 6 or 7 different things we could spray. So let's go ahead, lay down this branch off of what, like I said, I believe is our Douglas firs around here. And this is going to just kind of hopefully break up some of that fern look with that color. In fact, you know what? Let's get really wild. Let's lay down. Actually, you know what? We're gonna put that aside. We're just gonna use this fir branch for now. And it's just gonna be, again, super light. I think I'll shoot kind of higher this time. See how this kind of turns out, see if it breaks up some stuff. Now you see I got it kind of thick right there, so we'll go over that with another color here, perhaps in a while. Actually looked like the can is kind of spitting some paint here, so do a couple shots underneath the table here to try to maybe clear that up. Get some on the grip. Dump some on the mag. So I've hit the I've kind of hit the receiver a little hard there. That's okay. We'll go over it again with something else. See if I can operate this left-handed. Sketchy. Yeah, this is good. This is adding the fourth color to it, and it's kind of breaking it up a little bit. So that's good. What's weird is it doesn't look like it hit the magazine very well. Hit the foregrip here. Go around the back side. Hit the stock. Maybe a little bit of the rail. Some more buffer tube. Again, I'm not trying to make this a 30-35 minute video. Just trying to give you guys some ideas to get out there, spray your gun, not be afraid like I was for so long. Let's get a little more on the pistol grip here. Again, there's no right way or wrong way to do any of this. You're just kind of hitting it until you like the way it looks. More to come. Here we go. All right, so here's where we're at so far. It's looking pretty good now that it's gone over with the tan. Kind of blends everything in a little bit. Here's what it looks like. Now what I think I'm gonna do is this can's almost empty of the OD, and I got another full can here. I think I'm gonna go back over it kind of with a double layer pattern here of one of these sticks here, kind of underneath a fresh cedar limb. And I'm just gonna really gently go over it with another thing of OD just to kind of break up. There's a lot of tan here if you look at it. The camera might not be able to pick it up, but there's a lot of tan here. So I'm gonna try to break it up a little bit. And this might be the final coat. So let's see how this goes. I don't know how much is gonna be left in this can. Yeah, there's definitely not a lot in here. In fact, it didn't really... Yeah, I think that can's about toast. Got a fresh can here. It's already been shook up quite a bit. I like the look of the cedar limbs too. I think it gives it a pretty good pattern. Yeah, putting another layer of that OD on there really does mix it up. That looks good. And remember, anything that's done can be undone. Anything here can change. Nothing has to be left. Anything and everything can be redone. So, just gonna kind of hit this really quick. I never ended up using any of this Salal stuff or the leaves. I thought about doing it kind of at the end there, but I think I'm liking the way this is turning out with what we've been using. Oddly enough, I thought the ferns would have been what I would have used the most, and it's actually what I disliked the most. So, yeah, again, it's all about personal preference as to what you like on your rifle or whatever it is that you're camouflaging. So, yeah, we'll let this kind of cure, and then we'll flip it over, and I'll do it again and then take you in the garage and show you the product. All right, you guys, we're back in the garage with the finished product. So here she is. This is the way it's currently sitting. I think for a first-time rattle can job with really no experience in camo patterns necessarily, I think it came out okay. I'm pretty impressed with the way it looks. It's still drying. It's not tacky or anything, but it's still definitely drying. I still have my masking tape on there and my little wire that I used to hang it with. But here it is. I'm pretty impressed. I think it turned out pretty good. And, you know, again, if for some reason I don't like it, I can just rattle can back over it. It's no big deal. It's a cheap AR. It's like an under $500 gun after building and everything, and it's, yeah, the mag's done. Wasn't really focusing on the mag necessarily, but yeah, I'm happy with it. I hope you guys get out there and try rattle canning something. Try camo patterning something. It doesn't have to be a gun. Try doing like a cooler, or try doing a cheap Yeti, you know, tumbler or whatever. The world is limitless when it comes to canning and rattle canning stuff. So try it out, see if you like it. If you don't, redo it. It's okay. That's the bottom line here. And the cool part is wherever you live, it's yours. It's your pattern. It's your home foliage. It's your background, whatever. It's where you operate in. So this is, I'll probably take some photos of it later, maybe post them on Instagram or something of what this looks like in the backwoods, you know, whatever, laying on the ground against a tree, whatever. It's turned out pretty good, I think. I thought about painting an optic on it. In fact, I actually have an optic right there in the box that I'm going to return. It's not really what I wanted, but it was cheap, so I thought I'd try it. Didn't like the way it looked on the gun, so I have some sights coming for it. I have an EOTech type optic in the house I'll probably throw on it, and an Olight. I don't know. I thought about painting all that stuff on the gun, but I ended up just rattle canning it on its own, and we'll put all the accessories on it in their natural color. And if I feel like it, if I'm feeling sassy, maybe I'll paint them too at some point. But anyway, guys, you can do it. It's entirely possible. Get out there, take your gun or whatever, spend 20 bucks on some paint, and have fun. There is one thing I could do to this. Some people clear coat it with like a matte clear, and I've seen videos where that kind of turns the camo job kind of cloudy looking. It doesn't look as good anymore. But obviously that does two things. It protects your gun, and then it protects the finish, so it makes the paint last a little bit longer, right? This gun's going to get beat up, it's going to get scratched, and whatever, I don't care. If anything, that adds more character to the way it looks, right? It looks more like a used and serviced used gun or whatever. So anyway, guys, camo at home, have fun. Enjoy. If you found this video fun or informative, like and subscribe. Hit that thumbs up icon. I always appreciate it. Share it with your friends. And until next time, guys, take care.